You think that open door policy is making you a great leader, right? You see your constant availability as a sign of dedication and support to your team. Your Slack notifications are always green, and you take pride in answering every single email that comes in by the minute. But what if I told you that that open door policy is the thing that's holding your team back? What if your constant availability is the very thing that you believe that makes you a good leader is causing you to be less effective? Today, we're going to explore why the most effective leaders are often the least available and how you can use these counterintuitive ideas to build a stronger and more independent team and actually get back to the work that matters.
This is We Have a Problem podcast. I'm Charles Hall, and this is Diamond Hall. This podcast was built for leadership conversations, problem solving, life aspects, building for the betterment. Thank you so much for tuning in. To that end, and with your permission, let's begin and let's build.
So, as we talk about leaders that are always available, uh, you know, what does that look like? Because you have a leader and you've seen it before. They're always answering their emails.
Yeah.
Their door is always open. And anytime anyone has a question, they make themselves available. But on one end, it looks like they're burned out or they're probably stressed out because there are some things that should take priority, but they can't focus on it because they're spending all their time putting out fires with their team or for their team.
I agree. There are many factors. For me, it depends on the environment to adopt the open door policy. Like
Mm,
when you're starting and you're building and you're trying to gain relational equity and you're gauging
mm-hmm.
where people are. I believe in the open door policy just depending on the setting.
Okay.
But if my door is open, you have to be open to listen.
Wow.
I'm going to instill in that moment or attempt to help build you beyond just coming to me to solve the problem. Because two things happen. I give up my time and you still don't reach your potential
Mm-hmm.
based on you always asking me to figure it out. So, on one hand, the hands on the clock are turning, and at the same time, you can't fully put your hands on who you fully are based on me always being available.
Wow.
It just depends on the setting. So if I'm going in and I'm gauging and I'm trying to figure out where the team is or where this individual is,
Mm-hmm.
um, you grant access depending on how you assess things. I attempt to take steps to help them to take steps. You need to move forward towards the fullness of who you can become.
Mm.
So I don't mind being available and giving certain people access, but you have to trend towards ascending and not just, having access. So I don't want to produce people who bring me problems. I want to produce people who produce.
Absolutely.
So if I give you my time, we got to work on you not coming to me every time.
So the goal as a leader is to build autonomy in the team, because the more they're coming to you in in the bigger scheme of things, it's crippling the creativity a leader can have because they're stopping to they want to know what you consider is this a good idea, and it kind of has this ripple effect throughout the organization when they have to get your say on everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, just depending on the arrangement, I believe something should be brought to you. But if everything is brought to you, it
yeah,
does cripple the creativity. The team should have autonomy. They should have credence and credibility to work on projects based on what you shared. If you shared the vision, their mission is to carry it out. I
hmm
believe in autonomy.
are you thinking if you have a very strong leader, you're pairing them with, or you're giving your strongest leaders autonomy,
Correct.
and then you're kind of just filling out the space or the room with each individual leader based off of their ability to produce.
Yeah, that's really good. You pour into those so that they can produce, and you release them to produce producers as well. So you building leaders becomes contagious, so you don't have to build all of the leaders. You build those who can build.
I love this.
So you give the people access. What you'll find out is your open door policy won't be it won't be abusive because people have learned to produce.
Mm.
I've learned that sometimes the return is when they don't return. Sometimes the return on investment is when they don't return and they're producing in what you've instilled. They're producing in what you've taught. They're producing in what you spent time building with them.
Mm.
So your door can be open, but the abusive nature of someone always coming to you to figure it out turns into them trending towards or tracking towards or charting
Yeah.
with empirical data based on you being intentional. This is why I have healthy and realistic conversations with people. I don't just tell everyone that you're amazing in this thing if we need to reach towards something that's not amazing right now. I've learned that when you genuinely build, people become, and they don't always have to come back.
I love that. Spend your time building with people who build.
Yeah. It pays you back with you spending less time with everyone or you spending less time figuring everything out. I've also learned as a leader, you just have to trust that your print or your pace will not always be identical
Mm.
to how you express what you would like to get done because your pace and your makeup will not always look the same as someone else's. So I have to trust that the level of excellence has been set. The execution of how we get to that
Mm.
level of excellence
Mhm.
may look different,
Mhm.
but if the level of excellence is in place, that's the standard. That's the standard. So I'm not upset that someone doesn't outwork me, but if we set that standard of excellence, the end product will look the same. So I want people to max out. I want people to reach their full potential.
Mhm.
But everybody's pace will not be the leader's pace.
Okay.
It will not be their pace. But along the way, as they come, okay, open door. But you have to have an open mind. You have to have an open heart to be willing to grow. And I'm not doing it so like as leaders, if we're not careful, we create these codependency relationships because
Yes.
we feel fulfillment
Mm.
based on being needed. And that's something internal that a leader has to deal with because you can hinder the flow of creativity, you can hinder the flow of development
Mhm.
and growth in oneself or the individual you're trying to build.
Wow. I don't want to stop you because you're actually going into the next part, which is helping, you know, the leader who feels like they're not doing their job or they're failing at their job because they're not answering or readily available for every employee or team member. Um, and so I think you're answering those questions of what's the internal dialogue or those mental hindrances that have you feeling like you're not being a great leader, if you're not readily available. And that codependency is huge.
I think one could be the size of the team.
Okay.
If you have a smaller team, um, access may not be an issue,
Mhm.
but as you develop and you grow and you're leading a team of 50 plus people, like logistically, it could be hard to be available for 50 people because let's just say the average meeting is 30 minutes. And that number changes when you're in person because you feel obligated to entertain and listen and host
Okay.
and and be present. Yeah, it's just not enough time to go around. So what you do is you as you grow those who can help you, delegate, mitigate, eliminate or automate.
Okay.
I'm going to delegate to lend the load. I'm going to mitigate. I need to fix this to teach this person to be a fixer. Eliminate. We don't need this. This is not essential. This is nice, but it's not essential. Or automate.
Mm,
With technology, you can put things in place where it could just do it for you, and we don't have to spend our time in using an archaic, system that can be beneficial to update.
absolutely. Yeah. That's a good that's a good thought. Delegate, mitigate, eliminate,
Automate.
and automate. That's good. So essentially they could see themselves as more of a coach kind of playing the field. Like, the coach isn't on the field. The coach is just calling the plays and putting the leader in position. I guess that would be an additional question I have. Could it be as well as an identity issue where some leaders identify themselves, if they're available, um, that's how they see ideal leaders or bosses they wish they had, but then they realize that that's not how
It's not feasible,
this is not
depending
gonna
on,
work. Yeah,
yeah, depending on,
like you have to let that go. That's not gonna work for you here.
yeah, depending on the size of the, yeah, depending on the size of the setup, it may not be feasible.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're gonna hate looking at your phone every time you hear a notification goes off, or the emails come through. You're like, what's next? And you no longer like your job or the position that you're in because you feel like it's too much.
For me as a leader, I've always tried to grow and really helping people grow, to get out of the state of potential, to get people to the place of purpose, like to be activated in purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And for me to quiet the internal talk that says it has to be done this way, and to trust that people may not do it exactly how I do it. But if we're setting a level of excellence, to let them express themselves, which is different, not a deficiency.
That's great. I love
Like
that.
we're all different, and trusting that we're setting a standard,
Mm-hmm.
which is greatness, but we are not trying to graph or chart how each individual does it identical to what the leader is doing or how they see it.
Babe, I think that's really good. That's super helpful. So your role as a leader isn't in answering every question, it's building a team who can function and operate even when you're absent. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's great. Super helpful.
So for the leader who's listening and they're asking, like, what if I putting those guardrails or boundaries in place
Mm-hmm.
and I still feel like I don't have time because I'm gauging so much on all of these different people and I'm, pouring in and I'm trying to build, but I still don't have enough time with this open door policy and being available. I think something that's strategic and sensible
Mm-hmm.
could be to set aside an X amount of time. Let's just say it's 2 hours. And that time you can, respectfully let your people know uh, this is, a time slot that's not available. And or you just create, time slots for your open door policy. Like if your open door
Absolutely.
policy is that, you can come talk to me, these are the times you can come talk to me.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I'm trying to get people not to talk to me. I really am because it's not that I don't want to talk to you. I really want you to be sharp. I really want you to have a sharpened perspective. The tens that people used to bring me on a scale become less on the scale based on those strategic moments. of saying, hey, let's have a sharpened perspective.
Mm.
So my goal is to get you to a place where you don't have to come every time. Yes, leaders should share what it should look like. Yes, leaders should have input on the outlet. Yes, leaders should be a part of how it looks. But real empowerment is investing, it's entrusting, and it's really releasing people to express themselves with their gifts and their talents in a way that they can be creative in their arrangement and makeup.
Yeah, I love that. So creating some space for you to focus, 2 to 4 hours, I think that's brilliant. You also said, of course, empowering your team, and then having a system for communication where you know what to 10 and you know what to 2, and we're helping you work through that.
Yeah, depending on the organization and what the situation is,
Mm-hmm.
after you gauge, then you can guide. Like you understand the outlay or the lay of the land, and these are the problems that this organization has.
Okay.
You see this as a 10, even if I see it as a 10, I'm teaching leaders, hey guys, this is a 10. I totally agree, but let's not run around in panic mode, exuding that this is a 10. How can we scale this down? Because if we treat this like a 10 right now, everybody else around us is going to be in panic mode as well. So I'm trying to gauge, then guide. So if I'm gauging that this is a 10, how can I make this a 9? How can I make this a 5? And over time, I've seen and I've noticed that leaders, they come in more settled.
Mm.
Like even if it's stress, like a stressed environment,
Mm-hmm.
they come in with a lower tone versus the frantic panic talk
Yeah.
where it's rapid fire and they've learned to just be settled. So we can settle this
Yeah.
and let's work through it. So I think it's different. It's different variables. There are different factors. It's about assessing
Mm-hmm.
before you like it's assess then address. But you have to assess it. You have to figure out what's going on. And then over time, depending on what the needs of that organization is,
Yeah.
then you can teach your people to read the room. You can teach your people to assess what needs to be addressed. Then you adjust. So it's assess, then you address it.
Mm-hmm.
Then let's make adjustments. But
Wow.
sometimes we go in adjusting before assessing, and we end up having to do double work because we didn't assess, address, and then adjust.
That's trust.
Yeah, it's
That's good. I can see why the office hours that would help build the muscle for both, the leader, and the team member as well, because it's forcing you to, like, if you're on the team and it's a 10 and now you have to wait until office hours to address it. Now it gives you more time to think, what can you implement? Who can I ask for help before I bring it to the
yeah,
leader? And on the other end, it creates that balance of, as the leader is assessing, engaging before they address things, you also, it creates that balance for you as well. You have time to focus as well as not feeling the need to be readily available.
yeah. Another thing I try to teach is I meet before meetings. So I
Mm,
don't come to meetings looking for solutions.
this is huge.
I come to meetings with
This
solutions.
is huge.
I don't come to a meeting to just to meet on how can we figure things out. I'm doing homework before we get to work.
That's
I
a great
come
point.
to a meeting with solutions and ideas. I meet before I meet. I do some investigative work to see what works. It's 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 imperative. It's imperative to meet before you meet.
That is a great point.
Yeah, always being available is a kind it's a kind gesture. But at certain levels, if you're going to have optimum output and you have a larger team, it's not feasible. It's not logical, and the logistic outlay is painstaking. I think we rob people from the ability for them to ascend because we helicopter and we have to be hands on in everything,
Mm.
which hinders or can keep the organization or the individual from growing. It's a good feeling to have in your heart, but if growth is the goal, I'm trying to help people to grow so that they don't always have to come to me to get things done.
Yeah.
But I also have to deal with the inner talk that says, I need them to need me. I've learned that it's availability, then ability, then capacity. So if you show up and I gauge that you're ready for growth, then you can present or produce in your ability.
Mm.
Then you're able to get more credibility and you go into the capacity mode. You go into the capacity zone where you can become or you can, grow in what you're doing from the development.
That's great. That's super helpful. So, listen, guys, if this idea of setting boundaries has sparked some curiosity or has helped you in any way, please take some time, drop it in the comments of any questions you have or things that you've connected with. Hit like or subscribe is super helpful for the channel. We appreciate you guys so much, and we'll see you on the next one.